Are we recording? Ready.
Hi, thanks for joining us on Walls Can Talk. I'm here today with Clay Stamper, and he has his own show. So I wanted you to tell our audience a little bit about your show. I know it's called In the House, but beyond that, can you tell us what it's all about?
Absolutely. So, In the House is a web series that I started showcasing different archetypes of homes found throughout the Chicagoland area. So, whenever I initially got into real estate, I realized that there was a significant gap in my knowledge for identifying the difference between a bungalow versus a prairie style home versus a Tudor versus a Cape Cod. And I realized that there was an opportunity there for me to share the information that I was getting with others, and that's where the show sort of started. And then I decided to go from there and start focusing on the different communities that these homes were found in, because you'll find throughout the Chicagoland area that there'll be rows of bungalow houses,
Right.
and they've identified those as being historical districts. So I really wanted to sort of just let people know, for Joe or Sally home buyer who are out here for the first time, saying, well, do I want a Cape Cod? Do I want a
Right.
bungalow? And it just sort of took off from there.
That's awesome. So, what is your top selling house, the type of house, and also top selling area?
Yeah, I would say right now one of the hottest areas for me is Portage Park. So just right next to Old Irving Park, and that would be your classic Chicago style brick bungalow.
Right.
The reason that bungalows are so popular right now is because many of them are over 100 years old, but they offer an opportunity for buyers to build and add additions or bump outs as their family grows.
Right.
So they're kind of like a perfect family style home,
Which is great.
depending on the size or the needs of a family.
Right. And so, when you are selling somebody's house, what are the top tips that you tell them of what the best things are to do before you put your house on the market?
Oh, absolutely. So normally what I'll do is I'll start with a consultation. I'll just go over, I'll take a visit, I'll walk through, and I'll ask the clients to tell me, what are your favorite aspects of the house? And then from there, I try to build a profile of the highlights that I'm going to sort of share with prospective buyers whenever they come through.
Right.
Some tips that I often offer right now, obviously in this in our current environment with COVID, a major selling point for homes is outside space or livable space outside, so people can have their own areas to do and cultivate
Right.
what they want.
That's
So
huge right now, especially.
it really is.
Yeah.
So landscaping is one of the first things that I sort of look at, because that is a potential upgrade that people can do that it's not really gonna hurt their bottom line, and they
Right.
can really make a property sort of bump and pop.
Right.
Another thing that we kind of go through is we look for any potential issues that sort of what I call sort of date the property. So when you've had that 1990s bathroom addition that has very specific color palette of different tiling and so on. We try to see if there's an opportunity to sort of bring that up to sort of the modern aesthetic.
Right.
Bathrooms are another place where you can make improvements that aren't going to completely blow out your budget,
Right.
and are potentially going to make it a selling feature for you.
That's great advice for sure. Okay, one last question. What do you do when a house is not selling? What do you tell them mainly? Like, what are the big
Yeah, so I look into
points?
I look into a couple different variables whenever a home is sort of slow to sell on the market. First and foremost, I look in past sales. I look in and see sort of what the trajectory is for the neighborhood that the home is in.
Right.
And then the difficulty is everyone thinks that their home is a prized possession, which it is. It's
Right.
where you live. It's where you've created these memories, and you can't put a price tag on memories. The disconnect sometimes comes when people offer a value on perhaps they've done some work, perhaps they did that remodel of the bathroom in the 1990s and are really infatuated with the color pattern that they chose. And so, for that, they've added an additional value to that house because of the work that they put into it. And so trying to get them clients to see perspective on what the environment of the market looks like and what aspects of their house are emotionally valuable
Right.
versus what Joe Schmo buyer who just wants to settle down in the area, but wants a specific aesthetic for them.
Right.
is kind of where I go. I try to just approach it as delicately as I can because in real estate emotions are often high.
Definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
and so it's you want to wear kit gloves whenever you go there, but you
Right.
also want to sort of set expectation
Yeah.
to give them an idea of, look, I know that you value your home at XYZ. The reality is that our comps in the area are going to be a little bit different.
Right.
So I always ask, okay, what is your ideal value that you would like to see in return for your home? And then the next question that I ask is, and what is your actual settling benchmark? Like
Right.
where is something that you would be comfortable to be able to walk
What
away?
will you come down to?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And it's so true. And fortunately for a lot of home sellers in the market recently, they haven't had to make that sort of negotiation because
Right.
the prices have sort of been escalated. But now that things are coming down to a fine point, I think people are sort of settling, and we're seeing that the market is getting more comfortable with people.
Well, that's great and great advice. Thank you so much, Clay, for joining us today. Please check out Walls Can Talk. I mean, that Walls Can Talk is our show.
Yes, check it out though.
Check it
It's here.
out in the house with Clay Stamper. And thanks for joining us on Walls Can Talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely.